Welcome to a day in my life as a millionaire trader and investor. Normally, I would trade from my home office, but today I woke up and I looked out the window of my condo and I saw that the water was just so blue. So I grabbed my laptop, hopped in my Lambo, drove over to the beach club, and I decided that I should be trading from the beach club today so I can enjoy this beautiful view of the Gulf of Mexico right here. All right, everybody, I just took my first trade of the day, which is likely going to be my last trade. I am trading ES futures, and on this trade, I took a short position. We were in a pretty strong downtrend. We can pop up an overlay so you guys can see the exact setup that I took. I saw us make a little bit of a pullback, meaning price was coming down, moved up a little bit. I took shorts right off of this pullback. Got out for about $5,575. I was in this trade for 14 minutes and 26 seconds, as you can see right here on my broker statement. My strategy focuses on two main things. The first thing is levels, right? So what areas on the chart do I consider important? The main levels that I like to mark out are session highs, session lows, and session opens. These are key areas of liquidity, meaning there's a lot of orders sitting around these areas. So when price reaches one of these areas, it's likely to make either a big move up or a big move down. As a trader, our job is to catch a little bit of this move. So for me, I am a scalper. I'm only in trades from like 5 to 15 minutes. So I'm just trying to catch a tiny piece of the move, close my computer, and then go enjoy my day. The reason that I target areas of liquidity is because these areas give me the highest risk to reward trades, meaning trades where I'm only risking a little bit of money, but I have the potential to make a lot more money back. I like to target a 1 to 3 and a 1 to 4 risk to reward on all of my trades. So basically what that means is that when I am risking $1,000, I'm expecting to make back $3,000 or $4,000. This is really important because if you have a good risk to reward, you can lose a lot of trades and still be profitable. You can have a 50% win rate, but if you're targeting 1 to 4, 1 to 5 risk to reward trades, you will still make money. That's one of the things that I did not understand when I first started trading. When I first started trading, I thought that I had to win every single trade. So whenever I would take a loss, I would get so mad at myself. But then I realized it's just about probabilities and long-term profitability, not just, getting caught up in the day-to-day. As a trader, your job is to manage risk. You are looking to take calculated risks that have a very good potential of giving you a reward. One of the main reasons that so many traders fail is they don't understand risk management. If you're risking more than 1 to 2% of your account, you're practically gambling. If you're risking 25% of your account on every single trade and you take 4 losses, your account will go to 0. This is literally the definition of gambling. Also, if you're risking such a large percentage of your account, you're going to be super emotional, right? Because you take a loss, you're going to go, oh, no. And you take a win, your account's going to like double in size. So you're going to think that you're the man. I know that when you're first starting out, it's super tempting to risk 50% of your account or even 100% of your account on one trade because you see the potential reward and you're saying to yourself, okay, this trade could 10x my account. But the thing that you have to remember is that that trade could also make your account go to 0 if it loses. When you're risking a good percentage of your account, your mind is going to be so much clearer because not every single trade is going to determine if your account goes to 0. If you're practicing good risk management and you take a loss, it is not the end of the world at all. In fact, it isn't even really an issue. Another tip that I wish someone would have told me when I first started trading is that you have to have a specific time slot that you trade within. Personally, I trade between 8:30 and 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This allows me to catch a nice move because the New York stock market opens at 9:30, so this is when the volume comes in, and I know exactly when I'm done trading, so I don't overtrade, I don't revenge trade, I literally close my computer when the clock hits 11. If you want to understand, a nice little exercise to find the best times to trade is to look at the chart, right, for a week straight, find the times that your setup played out most often. I noticed that most of my setups were playing out between 9 and 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that's why I choose to trade between those hours. Your setups might play out in the afternoon or maybe even a little bit later in the day. The most important thing to know is that you are trading at the same time every single day. You don't want to trade at 8 p.m. one day and then 2 a.m. the next day. Like that's not sustainable at all, and that will just confuse you. All right, everybody, I finished trading for the day. I am completely done. I just pulled up to my buddy's house. We're gonna have some lunch, and then after lunch, we're gonna go on the jet skis. All right, everybody, I'm ordering up some Panera from Uber Eats. I spend a lot of money on Uber Eats. Time is money, everybody. If I were to go drive to Panera, park, wait in line, that would take me like an hour. I'm paying like $20 extra to have them come deliver the food. For me, that is a no-brainer. You cannot make more time. I can always make an extra $20 to $30, and I always will make an extra, a lot more than that, but I cannot make more time. So I would always rather spend a little bit extra money to have them deliver things fast. That's why rich people buy private jets, guys. Rich people spend $50,000, $100,000 on a private jet because they don't have time to go wait in line, right? They don't have 8 hours to go wait in the airport all day. Time is money. All right, everybody, I just finished up my lunch. It is now time to go on the jet ski, so I'm gonna head over to the marina. The good news is the marina is literally right there, which is like a 2 to 3 minute drive. So I'll see you all when I'm on the jet ski. All right, everybody, this is my jet ski. This is the Sea-Doo RXTX 300. That means 300 horsepower. It has a supercharged engine in it. It goes to about 70 miles per hour. 0 to 60 is so fast. I think 0 to 60 is like 2.5 seconds or something. This thing is awesome. I'm so grateful to have this because when I was growing up, all of my friends had jet skis, and whenever I would go out on the water, I would have to borrow one of their jet skis, and a lot of times they'd just be like, no. So now I don't have to borrow anybody's jet ski. Now I call up the marina and I say, bring out my damn jet ski. All right, everybody, I'm gonna go for a ride and I'm gonna show you all exactly how fast this thing is. My life is amazing. I have time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom. I have every single thing that I wished for, but it was not always like this. 5 years ago, I was literally cleaning tables, cleaning toilets, and I was making $12.50 an hour. I was working as a busboy. My mental health was struggling a ton, and this was probably one of the darkest periods of my life. I was always around wealth when I was young, right? I went to a school where everybody was super, super rich, and the only reason that I wasn't rich was because my parents were working at the school, so I was able to get in the school for a huge, huge discount, pretty much free. So when I was growing up, I was constantly surrounded by Ferraris, Lamborghinis, people who never, ever had to worry about money. And for me, it was the exact opposite. I was stressed about money, right? I just was. There's no other way to say it. I would look at my bank account, and I would look at my bills, and I would get stressed the fuck out because I was not making that much money. My first experience with buying and selling things was flipping shoes. I made decent money, but I didn't make enough to actually pay for my lifestyle. This was around 2019, 2020. So this was when the whole AMC GameStop thing went on. And when I heard about the AMC GameStop thing, I immediately started trading. I lost money in the whole AMC GameStop thing. But the thing that I realized is that I could have made money, right? There was a potential way where I could have made a lot of money. So the whole reason I got into trading initially was because I saw it as a vehicle for me making a lot of money. One of the things that got me into trading, and one of the reasons that I still love trading so much to this day, is that trading is about you. There's no boss, there's no fucking employees, there's no mom, there's no dad. It's about you. It's you against your own emotions, it's you against your worst fears, and it's you against your biggest hopes and dreams. This was super important to me because growing up, I did not get along with people. I wouldn't say that I was bullied in high school, but people did not like me, right? I was a little bit weird, I was not great socially, and I was constantly just trying to make money and do certain businesses while other people were partying, so I didn't really click with my whole friend group. Most of the other businesses I was exploring at the time required me to deal with somebody else, right? With drop shipping, I had to deal with customers, with employees. Even with my little shoe flipping thing, I had to count on people to actually buy my shoes. But when I found trading, even though I initially lost money at first, I loved it because it was actually my responsibility. I could sit down and say, okay, if I lose money, that's my fault. If I make money, that's also my fault. So initially I started out with options, and then I very quickly realized that options was not the best way to go. The reason I didn't like options is because it required a lot of money to actually get a good position size, and I didn't have that much money at the time. I was working as a busboy, so I was just taking my paychecks and putting them into my trading account, and with options, I would have needed a larger account size to make significant money. Back when I was trading options, I did not have a strategy. I was completely gambling, I was over risking, and I would literally just enter a trade because I thought that price was gonna go up. That was my whole confluence was, hey, price is gonna go up, so I'll enter this trade. This really put me in one of the darkest places of my life. I already was not doing well financially. I was working as a busboy, I was doing some side hustles, but when I started to lose money from options, I entered a really dark spot financially and more so mentally. I went on a really big losing spree and I genuinely did not like myself. I was not happy with myself. I would wake up every morning and I would look in the mirror and I would fucking look at myself and think that I was a loser because I would lose so much money trading. And the worst part was during this time, I was telling people that I was trading. So everybody was asking, how's it going? How's it going? And I just had to tell them like, yeah, man, I'm learning. And people would laugh at me. People would tell me it's not gonna work out. People would tell me all this different shit. And for a second, I almost fucking believed them. The thing that so many people struggle with, including myself in the beginning phases of their journey, is attaching themselves to the outcome of their trades. For example, I would win a trade and I'd walk around like I'm fucking Warren Buffett, like a whole, big player, and I would lose a trade and I would genuinely be depressed. I would hate myself. Trading can expose your deepest and darkest fears, and the reason people don't talk about this is because it doesn't sound good and it's not gonna get a lot of views. Trading is so different from anything that humans are used to. When you're literally risking your own money that you worked for, and that money has a potential of going to zero, that is fucking real stuff, guys. That is real stuff that can affect your mind in a huge way. At one point, it got so bad that I would take a loss and then I would just start losing more trades to self-sabotage because I was so fucking mad at myself. So I almost felt like I deserved to lose money. It was this weird way of like me getting back at myself for making all these mistakes. It was at this point that I had enough. I told myself I'm going to stop trading until I iron out my mindset. I was still watching the markets, I was still learning how to trade, but I was not actively entering any trades with real money until I got my mind to a place where I was actually confident. I did this by focusing purely on the process and not on the dollar amount because I wasn't actively entering positions. This means that I would open up the chart every single day as if I'm about to trade. I would mark out my levels, I would look for my setups, and I would just watch my setups play out. I would watch, I would journal, I would observe, I would open up the charts acting as if I'm going to trade, but instead of actively trading, I would just be looking for my setups to play out. This helped my mind so much because my mind started looking for great trading setups instead of just opening up the chart and saying, I need to make money. The biggest change in my trading happened when I started to focus on the actual setups that were making me money instead of the money itself. When you focus on the money itself, you lose track of what's actually making you money, so you justify, entering some stupid ass trade just because you need to make money. But when I made my goal to find quality setups with low risk and high reward, my mind was actually able to look at the markets clearly because I didn't have this big pressure to make money. This is also when I started to fall in love with the skill instead of just the money that this thing could make me. When I genuinely looked at trading and how much money it could make me, I started to gain a lot of respect for trading and I started to treat it super seriously. In the beginning, I thought that trading was a get rich quick thing. I thought that I would take a few trades and I would become super rich. But once I realized that I could get rich, it just wouldn't happen as quickly as I wanted it to. This is when I actually started to make a consistent income. My mental health got so much better and I was actually excited to wake up every day once I started falling in love with the process of learning. This is because I actually had something to look forward to. Every single morning I would wake up, I would look at the markets, and I would be excited to get better and better because I knew what the skill could do for me. And when I took a loss, I did not feel like a failure because I was actually practicing good risk management, so I would only lose a little bit of money. I wouldn't be risking like half of my account as I did when I first started out. I kept learning how to trade. I would take some losses, but the losses kept getting smaller and smaller and my wins kept getting bigger and bigger, and eventually I made enough money to leave my damn job. One of the best moments of my life was when I quit my job, and please don't do this, by the way, especially if you're young and you actually need your job. I texted my boss, I said, hey man, thank you so much for a great experience. I enjoyed working with you, but I am on to bigger and better things, and that was it. I didn't put in a 2 weeks notice, I just sent him that text and then I went on to go live my life. I didn't quit my job until I knew that I had enough money coming in and enough money saved up to live comfortably for a while, even if I didn't make another dime off of trading for a few months. The most important thing that actually led from me working that job and hating my life to me being financially free and doing whatever I want now and making more money than I know what to do with was me looking at trading and respecting the process instead of just trying to get this quick money. The reason I was always trying to get that quick money, and you can probably relate to this at home if you didn't grow up with money, is when I grew up, I was not used to seeing big checks. So when I would see $1,000 pop up on a trade, I would be like, holy shit. So I would think that it was easy to make money, and this would cause me to just completely gamble. But once I became obsessed with the process and became obsessed with what it actually takes to be a good trader, I started making so much more money because my brain was actually looking at it in a logical way and not just an emotional way. If I could tell myself one thing, and if I could tell every single person watching this one thing, it would be that I know that it sucks. I know that it feels terrible. I know that you might wake up some mornings and not even be excited to go live your life. But the one thing I have to tell you and that you have to remember is the only way you lose is if you quit, right? Failure is not losing. It taking a little longer than you thought, that's not losing. People making fun of you, that's not losing. Quitting is losing, because if you quit, you completely cancel out the possibility for any success, so don't fucking quit. My life went from being so dark, so fucking depressing, me literally not wanting to get out of bed in the mornings, to me living my wildest dreams. So if that doesn't show you that it's possible, I don't know what will. One of the things that always kept me going was knowing that people believe in me, right? And if you're watching this right now, people believe in you too. There are people who are counting on you. You may not know that they're counting on you, but if you're not gonna go ahead and put in your best effort every single day, you're a disappointment to the people who believe in you. I am a prime example of how your life can change in a few years, literally just from learning a skill. The life that you are living right now could look completely different in a few years and even a few months if you sit down and you actually work. You all have seen exactly what a realistic day in my life looks like. I wake up, I get some work done, I make some money trading, and then I go have some lunch with my friends, and in the afternoon I always try to get out and enjoy the water or go for a drive in the car. I just like to have some fun in the afternoons because I work a lot in the mornings. I also told you guys my actual story. It's an awesome story, but there are some dark parts as we went over. If I can go from working a dead-end 9-to-5 to being a multi-millionaire in just a few years, then so can you. But you're not gonna be able to do that without a system. You need a step-by-step plan that you can follow every single day so you know exactly what you are doing and what steps you are taking to get you closer to your goals. If you want the system that I use to go from working a 9-to-5 to living the life that I live now, you can click the link in the description of this video. I made a training, and don't worry guys, it's not a fucking course. It is completely free. You can watch the video. All you have to do is click this right now. That life you dream of every night, the houses, the freedom, the cars, the woman, whatever it is, it's all possible. It's right around the corner, but you have to put in the work.